Here are the solutions for this test review. All right, for this one, which figures are polygons? A and C are polygons. A and C are made of all straight lines. They are closed figures. They start and end at the same point. And if we were to trace each of these figures, we would be able to do so without crossing over any lines that we have already written or traced. And that makes them polygons. B has curves, so it's not a polygon, and if you were to trace D, you would have to cross over lines, so it's not a polygon. For this one, this little piece of P is cut out and moved up so that we can see more faces of P than we can see on Q. And so the surface area of P is going to be greater than the surface area of Q. For this one, in addition to being told that this is a triangular prism, we can look at this figure and tell it's a triangular prism because we can see two identical bases. The triangle's right there, which makes it a triangular prism, and the fact that there's two identical bases makes it a prism, and the fact that we can see all rectangles around the rest. So when we look at the net, we know that we should see two triangles in a net for this prism, and we should see nothing else but rectangles. In A, we do see two triangles, and we do see three rectangles. Since a triangle has three sides, there's going to be three rectangles for the other faces. They're called lateral faces. For figure B, we do see two triangles, and we do see three rectangles for the lateral faces. So B will be a triangular prism. For C, we see four triangles, not two, so C does not work. And for D, we see one triangle, not two, and so D does not work. All right, for number 5, express the volume of this cube in two different ways. The cube has a side length of 6 inches. So this dimension is 6, this dimension is 6, and this dimension is 6. So we can express the volume as 6 times 6 times 6. Volume of a rectangular prism is length times width times height. We can also express this using a base and an exponent. 6 is the number that's multiplied repeatedly, so it is a base, and 6 is multiplied by itself 3 times, and so 3 is the exponent. And we read that as 6 to the third power, or as 6 cubed. For the next question, the square has a side length of 4. What is its area? Explain your thinking. So I've labeled the two side lengths. Since a square is just a fancy parallelogram, we can use the formula for the parallelogram to find the area, which is base times height. The base is 4 and the height is 4. Since this is a square, 4 times 4 is equal to 16. So the area will be 16 square centimeters. Or you could write it as 16 square centimeters like that. All right, now we're given this square, and we're told that the area of the square is 49. So we have 49 square centimeters on the inside of the square. We want to know how long is the side. All right, so we know that to find the area of a square, we can multiply the two sides together, and the two sides are the same, so I'm using the variable s to represent that. We know they're the same because that's what a square is. So the question is, what number can be multiplied by itself to get 49? And that number is 7. 7 times 7 is equal to 49. And so each side of this square is going to be 7 centimeters long. Which number is greater? Explain your thinking. Well, 8 to the second power means 8 times 8, which is 64. That exponent of 2 tells us that that base of 8 is multiplied by itself 2 times. And then 10 to the second power is going to be, leave over here, 10 times 10. That exponent of 2 means that base is multiplied by itself 2 times. 10 times 10 is 100. And so 10 to the second power, or 10 squared, will be greater than 8 to the second power, or 8 squared. Another way to think about this is, since the exponents are the same, whichever base is bigger is going to be the greater value, and 10 is greater than 8. For problem B, which number is greater? Explain your thinking. We need to evaluate this. So we have a base of 2. 2 is going to be multiplied repeatedly, and an exponent of 3. So 2 is multiplied by itself 3 times, and then that star is another way to indicate multiplication when we're typing. 2 times 2 is 4, and then 4 times 2 is 8, and then 8 times 3 is 24. 6 is the base, so it's the number that's being multiplied repeatedly, and 2 is the exponent, so that means it's multiplied by itself 2 times. 6 times 6 is 36. Obviously, 24 is smaller than 36, so 6 to the second power, or 6 squared, is going to be the greater value. Explain how to find this surface area of this prism. We would find the area of the bottom side, which we could call a base of the prism. It is a 6 by 3 rectangle, and we would double that amount because we have an identical top to the prism. So we have 6 times 3 is 18, and then we would double that to take into account the area of the identical top and bottom. So we have 36 square centimeters total for the top and the bottom. I'll choose a different color for different faces. For the front side is a 6 by 3 rectangle. So its area is 6 times 3. And there is an identical back side as well. And so we will double that to include the area of the back side. 6 times 3 is 18. 18 times 2 is 36. And finally, we have a left and a right side. If this side of the front square is 3, then this side is also 3. And so the right side is a 3 by 3 square. This area is going to be 3 times 3, and there is an identical square on the left side here, so I'll double that area. 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 2 is 18, and finally we would just add all 3 of these areas up to get us the total surface area of the prism. For this one,
Sorry, I missed that. Could you say it again, please?
Sorry, I don't know why Siri thinks I'm talking to her. I'm not. All right, so for this one, here's a net made of triangles, rectangles, and a square. What polyhedron would it create? All right, I see 2 identical bases right there, and they're triangles. If I see 2 identical bases and the rest of the faces are rectangles, then I know that this is going to be a prism. And since the 2 identical bases are triangles, this is going to be a triangular prism. And now to find the surface area. The 2 orange rectangles are going to have the same area. So I'm going to do 8 times 7 to find the area of one of the rectangles, and then I'm going to double that to include the area of both orange rectangles. 8 times 7 is 56, and 56 times 2 is 112. 112 square feet for the orange rectangles. For the pinkish colored rectangle, it is 8 feet. Let me choose a color to see here. See, it is 8 feet on that dimension and 8 feet on that dimension. So that is the square. And there's only one of them. So 8 times 8 is equal to 64. And then for the two triangles, excuse me, the triangle has a base of 6. Here's the opposite vertex straight down to make that right angle. I'm sorry, that has a base of 8. And then from the opposite vertex straight down to make the right angle is the height. The height is 6. 8 times 6 is 48. And then divide that in half for a triangle, because remember, triangles are half the size of a parallelogram. But then I'm going to double that area because I do have an identical triangle on this side. 8 times 6 is 48. 48 divided by 2 is 24. 24 times 2 is 48. And then we will finish up by adding up the areas of all the individual pieces, and that'll get us the total surface area of the prism. 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 plus 8 is 14, so I'll place the 4 and carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 6 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. So I'll place the 2 and carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So I got a surface area of 224 square feet, which I'll write as feet with an exponent of 2. If you want to, you could also write square feet. And hopefully that matches the answer key for number 9. And here's the answer key. And the answer key says 216, so I'm going to double check that, and I will let you know. I've double checked this, and the correct surface area is 224 square feet, so we will fix that on the answer key. Hope you found this helpful, and good luck on your test on Monday. You guys are smart, you can do difficult things, and we love you to death.